My name's Dave from 226 Digital, and I'm here today with the first of a six-part webinar series with the BAA, the Business Advice Agency. These guys have been fantastic for my business so far, and I'm so excited to work with them, but also share, a bit of my knowledge that I've gained over the last 15 years in digital marketing with all of you guys out there. And always feel free to get in touch with Dave and Dane at the BAA or myself if you have any questions. Obviously, these webinars are designed to help you, and I hope you can take a lot out of it. But digital marketing is just such a huge, broad subject that it's very hard to cover absolutely every element of it in a webinar series. So feel free to engage, ask questions, and stay in touch. Today, we're talking about getting started. So getting started with your website, getting started with digital marketing. Where do we go from here? I've got my website up, which is not a shameless plug, but it kind of is. But it's also designed to sort of take you through how I did it and hopefully give you some ideas on where to start. So you're either setting up a new website or you're rebranding your current one. So what I did was I thought about my customers. How did I want them to get in touch with me? Who are they? What are their demographics? Who wants to do business with me, and who do I want to do business with? So who am I going to connect with personally? As good as we all are, it's pretty hard to service every single company in the whole of Australia or the whole of the world, so it's very important to think through that. And what information are they going to want to see from me to make that connection? And how do I do my sales? What's my sales message going to be? Because your website is now your business card, your brochure, your leaflet, your flyer, whatever it is, your website is doing that. And customers love researching you and getting information on you and working out whether they want to work with you before they ever get in touch. Or they get in touch, or you get in touch with them, and they'll hold you at bay until they've done their own research. So our customers are smarter than they ever have been before. There's more information open to them. So what I did was I basically wanted to set my business well and truly aside from other B2B service businesses. I didn't want to look like a financial advisor. I didn't want to look like a mortgage broker. I didn't want to look like, like I was trying to sell a product. I wanted to really make it consultative, and I wanted to really make people feel comfortable when they come to the website, because, the reason you're watching this video is that digital marketing is a bit of an unknown. It's an area which is largely self-taught and pretty unskilled until recently, where some great courses have been coming through our universities. So it's a very entrepreneurial space, and it's got a lot of lingo. You can see PPC, SEO, social, all these kinds of acronyms are coming through, and it's probably designed to bamboozle people, but it's not that hard. So I've gone with sort of this purple color to make it inviting, comfortable for people to come through. You can see that I'm like talking about taking control. It doesn't have to be scary. I'm talking about things that people understand, which is Google, Facebook, Instagram. Most people use those platforms. The thumbs up, people can relate to. I'm trying to show that also digital is creative. So I'm trying to put a bit of fun and friendliness into it, but also try and link it back to some seriousness, because obviously I am designed to make people's businesses money. So, a little bit of social proof, how long I've been in the industry, some services that I have, some clients that I work with, some examples and some reviews, so that people can gain a bit of trust about who I am. But most importantly, how do I want people to do business with me? It's very, very important for you guys out there to understand, how do you want customers to do business with you, and you need to tell them how to do that. Probably the man that I've learned the most from in the industry and worked with for many, many years, Ewan Watt at roi.com.au, he drummed this into me pretty hard. When you're working on a website, how how do you want people to get in touch? How do you want them to do business with you? For me, it's phone. I love it when people call me up and I can talk to them. I don't want to be back and forth over email and stuff like that. But I've got a contact us form right down the bottom, just in case people don't feel that comfortable calling me yet and they want to go through email. That's fine. But most of my calls to action on the side of phone. You might have a different thing. If you're e-commerce, you obviously want people purchasing and you want them to purchase in the shortest space of time. So you might have a really short checkout experience on the site, things like that. Once you've got your website and your sort of theme sorted and how you want to present your brand, it's very important to realize that you can do this yourself or you can contact an agency to do a website for you. The most important thing is that you know your target audience and you know who you're talking to and you know how you want to present your business. And I firmly believe that people in Australia especially, we want to do business with people that we trust and that we understand and almost that we know. So it's very important to put some personality into your website, I feel, so that people really get your brand or they really get your stuff or they really get what you're about. Then you'll hear a lot of people talking about domain registration. So this is my domain, 226digital.com.au. Whatever yours is, you need to go and register it. You can easily register it with companies like Crazy Domains or GoDaddy, or WP Host or whatever it might be, but it'll probably cost you about $20 to register it, and for quite an extended period of time you can do that. You want to sort of register it and protect yourself. Then you've got to host the website. Hosting is pretty interesting in the way that a lot of people, again, don't know much about it. So what hosting is basically your website is stored somewhere. If you think about it being a file on a computer, where your website is stored is very important, because if that computer or if that storage space is really full with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and thousands of other businesses, your website is going to be really slow. And their customer service department is going to be really slow because it's so jam-packed and it's so full and there's so much going on. So some companies will offer a very dedicated service where you've got your own sort of file and your own sort of area where you're hosted, and your website will be a lot faster. Obviously, with those two different options, there's a cost involved, a cost differential. There's also companies that are based in Australia and companies that are hosted overseas. There's companies which are resellers, so a lot of people don't realize that. So part of hosting is not just the quality of the server that you're hosted on or the file that you're in, but it's also the quality of the service that that company can provide if, God forbid, your website goes down. And it might be that you're in the middle of a really big campaign, you've got 1,000 people a day coming to your website or whatever, and if your website goes down, you want to know that you can get that thing live again ASAP. So I've actually been working with an Aussie company, I think they might even be Melbourne-based, called Ventra IP. They've, so far, for me personally, I've seen a lot of great service coming from them. They've helped a couple of sticky situations. Their team's been really responsive, and my website has been super fast since I switched to them. But I've also had good results with a company called WP Host and some others. It's really important to sort of get that right. The next part is obviously you want to choose your email provider. You can do that through your hosting company, or in my situation, I've been using G Suite, which has changed. I think it's called Workspace now, Google Workspace. So I've been using Google Workspace since I started. I've found it really easy because I can use Gmail, I can use calendars, I can use Google Meet, I can use all their apps. It's all in one place for me. I can keep my email addresses, dave@226digital.com.au, and customers don't realize that it's a Gmail address, but But for me, it's very, very easy to sync everything. And, I've found it pretty beneficial. It costs about $19 a month, so it's not offensive in cost. And that's been pretty easy for me. The other thing that I would highly recommend, and I'll just go into WordPress as well. So the reason there are a few different platforms that you can choose to build your website on. And you'll hear companies talk about WordPress, Squarespace, Shopify, things like that. WordPress is pretty universal, and that's what I've built my website in. In the way that it's really easy to set your website up because you can download templates and build your website from there. So this Elementor is actually a template that I've used to set up my website, and I've just customized the template. If you want to do things like edit pages and stuff, it's really easy for you guys to do things yourself, because you can go into, a WordPress editor and you can just edit things on the page like Microsoft Word, just copy and paste, or, put in headings, all this works just like Microsoft Word. But then if you use a template, editing with the template that you've downloaded, in my case Elementor, is really simple as well, and you almost become an overnight designer. You can jump in there, you hit edit, and away you go. You can edit different sections, move things around, grab things and pop them on. And so a lot of businesses, especially people that love, micromanaging and doing everything themselves, they've been moving towards this platform. They do have a great e-commerce part of their business as well, called WooCommerce, which is like an app that you download onto your WordPress theme, and it will sync easily with all your products and things like Google Ads and Facebook Ads. The other good thing about WordPress is that it's got a lot of applications called plugins, where you can set up different things. You can do bulk creation of pages. You can get SEO tools. You can do you can sync it with Facebook and Instagram, and you can do a lot of things that you used to not be able to do back when doing a website was all coding, etc. Squarespace, again, is something similar, but it's really stripped down version of this, and it's probably a lot easier for businesses to manage. Doesn't have all the bells and whistles, and it's very good for designers, to make a really pretty website that stands out, but not have to have too much coding background, etc. And then for e-commerce, there's WooCommerce, obviously, but I've found a lot of people, really doing great things with Shopify. So Shopify, I've found, has been great for customers that I'm working with, because they you can go on there, and it's really good for managing your inventory. It's really good for connecting with your CRM or your point of sale software. It's really good for syncing with Google Ads and Facebook Ads, and it looks great. All the themes and templates that you download look fantastic. They've all been tried and tested. I could not recommend Shopify enough for especially a small business e-commerce site. They've been fantastic to work with. Then there's obviously the world of marketing. So you're going to hear people say things like SEO. You're going to hear people say social media advertising and social media, and you're going to hear people say Google Ads. The simple thing, again, like your website, is understanding where your customers are going to be. In my industry, probably advertising on Google is a very good place to do it, but you have to remember that I'm up against other digital marketing agencies. So these guys here are probably spending a huge whack of money to be at the top for things like digital marketing consultant. These are all ads you can see based on that. If we go to Google and type in something a bit more fun like socks online, you can see that, again, these are all ads, and these are search ads, and then these here are actually e-commerce ads or shopping ads provided by Google as well. So if you're running an e-commerce business, these look fantastic and stand out beautifully, and that's a good place to advertise your business. I'll go into more how-tos in the other webinars, guys, so just hang tight if you've got questions on those. As you roll down, these are the local search results. So Google provides a free service called Google My Business, which you can sign up to, list your business address, set up information in there. I think I might have it open here. So this is the back end of Google My Business. When it loads, okay, and you can provide information in there to Google that will connect. Google will see that, so Google will see the information in this listing and connect you to certain information, and work out whether you're a good, local business to show up. You can get reviews, you can get photos, all that kind of stuff coming through. But basically, SEO is the organic search results in Google is designed for Google to show businesses up that match the query that someone has put into Google. So I put digital marketing consultant into Google. You can obviously see all those people advertising there. But because I'm in Melbourne, I'm able to show up there. And I think it's a really good tool for people to set up and punch above their weight, because in this industry, I've been going for 15 years, but 226 Digital is only 6 or so months old. For me to get a first page listing, sure, I'm only going to get traffic from Melbourne, etc., but at least I'm somewhere, rather than paying heaps of money for the ads. And then you've got these organic search results, and for you to come up in there, you have to have a huge amount of history with Google, good credibility, have been around for a while. You've got to do lots of SEO work to come up in those results. And it was a quick way for me to get a win there. But that's what these businesses do. And I'll give a quick shout out to Chris, who I used to work with, who's done an amazing job coming up on the first page of Google for his business. So that's the sort of Google landscape. Setting up Google Ads, I'll go into in another webinar, but that's pretty simple these days. You start a Google Ads account from ads.google.com, and you can set up a pretty easy smart shopping campaign for your business in there. You can do a smart e-commerce campaign as well. Smart basically means that it's automated by Google, so a lot of the audience and stuff that you choose, you can't choose, they choose it for you. You can also switch over to expert mode and set up campaigns that are more detailed, and you pick keywords that people type in, and you pick target audience, and you pick locations very diligently, etc. So that's the Google landscape as far as where you can show up. The way to show up in Google search is that you optimize your website to come up for certain keywords. So if you look at my website and think about how Google reads the website, there's the on-page copy. You can see here the page title is very important. Digital marketing consultant Melbourne. This is the heading on my page. This is a subheading. This is the copy. Google also reads images and videos. So you can see that everything that I've got on the page is designed to sort of target certain keywords, but also do it in a conversational way. So I'm not pumping, I am a digital marketing consultant, Australia, Melbourne, online, all that kind of stuff. You want it to flow and read well, but Google reads your website on page like a book. It reads the title, the headings, and the copy. So you need to include keywords when you're writing that, and we'll do that in another webinar as well. Then it also reads your website like this. That's code, and basically you need to make sure your website is technically correct for Google to be able to crawl it properly and rank it properly. So this is probably where a developer might come in and help you, but a lot of the websites that we've platforms that we've discussed, like Shopify, etc., have presets. So a lot of that stuff is navigated for you initially. But again, the only reason you choose certain keywords is you need to think about what your customers are searching for. So I want people who want digital marketing consulting rather than, thinking that they're going with an agency, rather than thinking that they're going with a freelancer. It's more of a consultative service that I offer. So that's why I've chosen these kinds of keywords. People do look for PPC consultant, SEO consultant, social media consultant. That's why I've worded things a certain way. And then once you choose those kinds of keywords, then you can start writing your copy and working out how to set up your Google My Business listing, etc. The next part of where your customers are is very important. So, because the other things that you want to set up for your business are social media platforms. You can see that because I'm in the industry, I've got quite a few set up, but I usually advise small businesses to have one or two channels and be really good at that. So if you're in e-commerce and you want to sell men's socks, things like Instagram and Facebook might be a really good place because you can be fun, friendly, really colorful, that kind of thing to connect with that audience. But if you're if you're a mortgage broker, being on LinkedIn or Facebook might be a bit better for you because you can be more, content driven. You can provide more videos about who you are and why people should go with you. You can engage in business chat. You can specifically seek out connections based on job title, etc. So that might be a really good place for you to start. It's really important for you to set up all these channels correctly. So, make sure that that when you set it up, that again, you present your brand the way that you want to be, that you want people to do business with you. So I've got all the right branding in there. I do fun posts about, how to do paper planes in the office. I put information about, our industry. I try and engage the audience in ways that they feel comfortable. So, a little bit of stats driven information, etc., but still inserting a little bit of fun. If I look at Instagram, the reason I've chosen that platform is because there's a lot of small businesses on there. It's free for them to set up. They're very active, and I'm hoping that they will see my posts as well and want to do some business with me based off the fact that we're engaged and they can see what I'm up to. Being very specific around choosing the right coloring, being very specific around how I come across and who I'm trying to reach. So I've created my own acronym, the WAP, Wicked Ad Placement, to try and break out of the norm, but still have a lot of trust and connect with the right kind of people. On LinkedIn, similar story, but on here I can be a little bit more impressive. I can put a bit more video into things. There's the BAA video there. I can really talk about content and more industry related stuff. So you have to remember that before someone touches you personally or hits you up on the phone or email or whatever, they've probably done a lot of research. Setting your business up correctly, providing people with the right information is so important because you only really get one shot at impressing someone. And I think a real takeaway is present your business the way that you want to present it, but you really have to think about your target audience and have to sort of explain to them who you are and how they can do business with you. I think that's really important. All the technical stuff is there. You can do it yourself now, but if you need someone to help you, there's thousands of people locally and overseas that at different price points that can help you set up your website and your brand. But it's up to you to really know who your target audience is and how they can do business with you. I cannot stress that enough. So the next webinar will be a bit more into digital marketing and the different options available to you. Maybe some stuff around how to choose your audience. Maybe some stuff around how to choose the right budget, etc. So keep tuning in, and as I said at the start, myself and the guys from BAA are always here to sort of be able to be a resource to you because you're part of our network, and we just look forward to being in touch and working with you in the future. So thanks for tuning in.